Welcome into the parlor, dearies. It's Terror Time Tea with Evil Bed Chick. Harm maybe your knees to make your cup run over.
Howdy, gang. I was hoping my voice wouldn't come out as a croak sounding like a frog. Um, Earlier, I was sending someone a message and my voice just came out and I almost didn't come out. It was pretty croaky. So hopefully I can get through this version of Terror Time Tea, which I forgot. You know what? I forgot to change. There we go. Forgot to change the little logo at the top to the Terror Time Tea logo. Um, Alrighty. So now I got my ducks in a row, hopefully. Um, I wanted to bring Terror Time Tea back. I haven't had a Terror Time Tea for a few weeks. I think the last one I did was like a Christmas time one. So hopefully my voice holds out. I've got the Sinus Soother tea today, which will hopefully help me. Um, but this is the Winter Kills edition of Terror Time Tea, and I'm not going to talk about just two movies. I'm going to talk about three movies, one of which is actually a Christmas horror movie, and I keep forgetting to watch it every year for Christmas. But I'm going to talk about this on the Winter Kills edition of Terror Time Tea. Okay. And I also want to remind everybody uh, to join Candace and I um, this evening at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. We're going to be having an extra special version or episode of Friday Foolish. It's going to be a Ask Me Anything. I don't know if me and Candace have done an Ask Me Anything for Friday Foolish, but we're doing it now. And hopefully my voice will hold out then as well, because most of the symptoms have went away with COVID, except for this cough. See, I don't know. That would happen while I was doing this recording. If it gets too bad, I'll have to pause it and come back. In fact, let me do that. Okay, let me try this again. Um, hopefully the hacking won't start up again. But the only thing that really hasn't left is the cough and congestion, which is causing my ears to alternate being stopped up. One clears up and the other stops up, and then the other one, the other one will clear up, and then the one that wasn't stopped up will stop back up again. It's a weird thing. I've been trying to. First, it was only one ear, and then it was both alternating. So, and I looked this up, and COVID can cause your ears to be stopped up as well as having a cold or flu can do that as well. But I also have some of my peanut butter chocolate chip cookies that I made for the Christmas holidays, and I wanted to have a little snack with my tea, a sweet snack with my tea. And we need to get rid of, we've still got fudge and cookies and peppermint bark galore around this house. And I don't want it to waste. So we're going to go out ahead. Sorry. I've been trying to drink my tea quicker, as I've said before it gets cold. Because if you want hot tea, you don't want to be drinking cold or lukewarm tea. So there we go. So I'll set this to the side. Plus, it's going to help my illness better when it's hot. But anyway, let's get going with these movies, shall we? And also be on the lookout for another video, a quick video that's going to be coming up soon, announcing the return of evidently several people's favorite segment that I do. So stay tuned for that as well. But the first movie I wanted to talk about is Misery. As you can see, this is a winter-based horror movie. There is snow on the cover of the 4K that I have here. And, I'm not going to go real deep into the plot of Misery because Misery came out in the early 90s. And it was directed by Rob Reiner. And anybody that is a huge Stephen King fan, such as myself, is very familiar with this story. Okay. And the book actually took the torment of the writer Paul Sheldon up several notches. But I think that Rob Reiner made a good choice in changing some of it slightly. Because cinematically, I think the way that he did it, or he chose to do it, to showcase this torment that the writer is going through after being kidnapped by Annie Wilkes, his supposedly number one fan. So let's back it up a little bit. We'll go through this kind of quickly. The story is, for people that might not be, there could be some people that aren't familiar with Misery. There's a writer of these romance novels, the Misery novels. That's not what he started out writing, but when he started writing those, his popularity skyrocketed. And so he wrote several of these Misery novels, and they made him a good living. They put his kids through school and all of that. But the truth of the matter is, he's tired of Misery. He's tired of writing about Misery. He said all he has to say about Misery Chastain. And so he has went up to the Silver Creek Lodge, where he always goes to finish his books. And he has written a new book, and it's not a misery book. And we go back and forth with flashbacks after Paul has a terrible car accident, after going out on a snowy road, getting caught in a snowstorm and slipping off an embankment. Um, where, if this happened to most people would have frozen to death. But after the accident, evidently Paul is going in and out of consciousness. We see flashbacks to him and his agent talking, and the agent is saying, misery gave you this, misery gave you that, misery put your kids through college and got you floor seats to the Knicks and all this, and what thanks does she get? You go and kill her. And he explains, I never meant for this to become my life. I do not think of myself, or have not thought of myself, as a serious writer since I got into the misery business. And now he's hoping with the new book, the one that he was finishing up at the Silver Creek Lodge, would put him back on the map as a serious writer again. So Paul does not freeze to death, which you would think, fortunately, except that he is not only rescued and taken back to the home of his number one fan, she's a crazy psychotic, or just a psychotic, I don't want to use two, and Annie Wilkes is somebody you don't want to cross. And we find out this through her increasing agitation towards Paul, who one second she claims to love, and the next second she's, crippling him and, slamming stuff down on his sore limbs and, making him burn his book. And it's just torture. And for anybody that is creative in any sense, not just writers, but painters and stuff like that, people that create something that comes from within them, and somebody forces you to destroy it, how would you feel? That would be torment in and of itself, right? So, Annie becomes more and more diabolical and murderous. And, she keeps a scrapbook of all the people that she's killed. She was a nurse, and she killed babies in the maternity ward. She killed elderly people. It's just, it's even hinted that she killed her husband. And so what turns out to be heaven sent turns into something very, very malicious, very, very evil, and very detrimental to Paul Sheldon's well-being and his life, essentially. So I really liked what Rob Reiner did with this movie. Like I said, he did change some aspects of the story. But I think even Stephen King has, said how much he respects Rob Reiner, how much he enjoys the adaptations that Rob Reiner's done. Rob Reiner also did Stand By Me, which was an adaptation of Stephen King's The Body, which is a very good story in and of itself. But Stand By Me is a fantastic movie, very, very well acted by the main three boys who were quite young at the time. Wil Wheaton, River Phoenix, four boys, I should say. Wil Wheaton, River Phoenix, Corey Feldman, and Jerry O'Connell. who Jerry O'Connell went from the overweight burn in that to a very nice looking, easy on the eyes guy. So, never judge somebody. You shouldn't judge anybody anyway, but don't judge somebody by their looks when they're 12 or 13, because they could turn out to be a Jerry O'Connell, right? So, anyway, um, this has always been one of my favorite Stephen King novels. It's hard for me to pick a favorite, so I always say one of my favorites. I read it when I was in high school. That was when I really, really got deep into Stephen King. Was about the time that I got in high school, and then I just became a ravenous reader of all of his works, anything I could get my hands on. And I still love to read his stuff. It's just finding the time now to read it. Like I used to go through books just like that. I would just eat those books up that he would put out. Every time he put out a new one, I'd be all over that. But so the adaptation succeeded all my expectations, or exceeded, I should say, all my expectations regarding how a Stephen King adaptation should be done. And Rob Reiner did an excellent job. The main boys that were in this, that acted in this, were fantastic. No matter what you may think of people like Corey Feldman now, um, he was a really, really good actor, and I still think he has got that good acting ability in himself. Um, it's just that Corey Feldman has a lot of demons that he's been having to deal with over the years. And I think that, I've said this before about Corey Feldman. I'll keep saying it. I believe that now Corey Feldman is so damaged by all of that it's hard for him to articulate things the way he once did. Um, so, um, but we're not really talking about Corey Feldman, and we're not talking about Stand By Me specifically. But I did want to bring it up because it was another one of the Stephen King adaptations that Rob Reiner did. So, you probably got a good idea what rating I'm going to give Misery. And that's going to be 5 deadites out of 5. Um, Overall presentation is fantastic. The changes that Rob Reiner made to turn this into a cinematic masterpiece of a well-known writer's work um, were spot on. They really worked. Whereas I think if they had done it straight, everything that Stephen King did in the book, I just don't know if it would have translated well to film. So, yeah, 5 deadites out of 5 all the way around. If you've never seen Misery, I urge you to check it out. And it is definitely a wintertime horror movie. All right. So the next one I'm going to talk about is the one that I refer to as a Christmas film, Christmas horror film, that I keep forgetting to talk about. Or I keep forgetting to talk about, and I keep forgetting to watch. And that movie is The Children. And you can see 2 creepy kids right there. So if you have not seen The Children, I can highly, highly recommend this one because I love the setup to this. I absolutely love the setup to this. So you have this small little town of Ravenback, and the kids are going home probably for Christmas vacation on the school bus. The school bus passes through a toxic waste cloud of some sort, and it turns the kids into black fingernailed um, zombies, basically, that when they come up to you like this and they hug you, they burn you up, basically. They basically do set on fire or burn to a crispy critter anything they touch. Um, and some people might think, well, that doesn't sound like that great of a film, but I love the setup. I love um, the idea of making these kids like ghouls that can burn people up when they hug them. And before the kids do that, they're always just like, and holding their arms out, and the parents, I guess, are just too stupid, or they just are caught up in the fact that their kids were missing for a few hours and all of their kids are showing back up again. Um, so I believe Carlton Albright, who it was produced by Carlton Albright, who did Luther the Geek. And you guys and gals may have heard me talk about Luther the Geek from time to time. It is definitely a wintertime / Christmas horror film. I need to really remember to watch it next year around Christmas. In fact, I might watch it this weekend just for the heck of it. This is Steve's copy of The Children because I think I have a DVD, but I don't have anything other than that. So I have watched this Blu-ray with him from Vinegar Syndrome. And, I would like to sit down and watch it again. I really would. I might also watch Ghost Keeper because I haven't watched Ghost Keeper yet for the season. And it's actually, if I'm thinking right, a New Year's, not a New Year's Eve, but a New Year's horror film. That is really creepy. Got a really creepy old lady on there. But The Children is a very if you like to watch wintertime movies in the wintertime, this one is cold and secluded, and the colors are muted in the film. And it's a really good one to sit there and just bundle up on a cold day. And we're going to have some cold weather, folks. So, or at least in my area, they are. I think, or we are. Actually, I think this wintertime weather is going to cover several states, evidently. And I'm hoping and praying that we get more snow than ice. No ice would be good. But they're saying this particular storm's about 2,000, 3,000 miles away still from us. And so they're just not sure who's going to get the ice, who's going to get the snow, who's going to get the rain, how much they're going to get, and all that. So we could get all snow, we could get all ice, we could get a mixture of the two. Who knows? But I'm keeping my fingers crossed that it's snow, that it's a snow event. Actually, depending on what weather you look at, they say several inches of snow for Louisville. So we'll see. But if you got, electricity or whatever, oh, pray we don't lose electric. Or you have the ability to watch some movies even if you don't have power. And you want to watch some wintertime horror stuff. The Children fits the bill. You could have a triple bill with all these movies or the 3 movies I'm going to talk about today. So what would I give this one? I won't give it 5 Deadites out of 5, but I'll give it 4 Deadites out of 5. I think that's worthy. If you've never seen The Children, I think you should check it out in a for free version first, folks. Look for it on YouTube or Tubi or one of the other usual suspects. Or if you have a friend or family member that has a copy, they'll let you borrow. Or you have other ways of getting it for free, then I say start there first if you don't already own a copy. All right. So, the last one I wanted to talk about, I hadn't even thought about till I saw it on Steve's shelf, and we both have a copy of this. And I was like, you know what? Technically, this is a winter horror movie, and it's very cold. There's some ice skating in it, and all that. And that is Curtains. Behind every curtain, someone is waiting. Something is watching. This to me has one of the most incredible, creepy masks I have seen in a horror film. And we have John Vernon in this and Samantha Eggar. We have Leslie Donaldson. Lynn Griffin is in this. So I believe it is a Canadian production. I could be wrong, but I was pretty sure it was. It's directed by Jonathan Stryker. And it's produced by Peter Simpson, which Peter Simpson had something to do with all the prom night movies. So, and those are Canadian. So that leads me to believe, plus the fact that it's got, some Canadian actresses in it, that it's a Canadian production. Now, here's the lay of the land as far as Kurtz is concerned. Samantha Eggar is an actress who wants to play Audra, this crazy. I mean, she's mentally ill in the movie, and she wants to be Audra in this. And John Vernon, I believe, is the director, and he's also messing around with Samantha Eggar's character, evidently. So I think he kind of encourages her to act crazy so she can get committed to a mental hospital, because she's that kind of actress that she thinks that will help her be able to cement the role. But what she doesn't know is, or maybe doesn't want to realize, is that John Vernon is an extreme horn dog that likes to have his cake and eat it too, and likes to, have his fingers in a lot of different pies, okay? And so he basically lets her stay committed in this mental hospital and basically leaves her there. He doesn't get her out or anything. And he goes to this cabin and invites a bunch of would be actresses, all of whom want to be Audra as well. Okay. Plus, he thinks he's going to get a little nookie on the side too with a lot of these girls. And he ends up doing so. But there's someone that evidently wants to be the only one that gets this part. And, or maybe they're just a crazy person. Somebody is coming around and killing off the competition, basically. There's one spectacular scene with Leslie Donaldson where the killer has that hag mask on that I was talking about and comes skating on the lake. And it is just fantastic. It's fantastically shot. It's very creepy. And they have a weapon too. And they're skating faster and faster. And you're flashing back to seeing that, to seeing Leslie Donaldson's character in her little pink cap and her nice winter wear, and she looks so cute and cuddly and all that stuff. And then she gets taken out. So this is a slasher movie. I would definitely call it a slasher movie. Um, but I'm telling you, you can kind of see the mask there, and the little doll is coming through the curtains. Okay, so speaking of dolls, let's talk about, like, I don't know why the doll is in the movie. It seems very unlikely that this would have a place in the movie, but it works so well. It makes no sense within the whole complete movie. But if you watch it just as a scene in this already, creepy movie anyway, um, it just works. I mean, this doll ends up strategically placed in different spots in early in the movie. Okay. So if you've never seen Curtains before and you watch it, I mean, take all that stuff in, take every scene in, because this is a movie that is just brimming with brilliance, in my opinion. Um, and it was a movie that I liked the first time I watched it. It was not something that had to grow on me. I mean, how great the movie is and how creepy the movie is has grown on me over the years of seeing this. But I liked it from the first time I watched it. And I'm one to say the first time I watched it with Steve, but it's possible that I could have watched it before me and Steve were even, together. So, yeah, Curtains is like A plus entertainment. And I'm definitely going to have to give it 5 deadites out of 5 as well. If you've not seen Curtains, find a for free version, folks, but watch it. Whatever you do, watch it. Look it up on YouTube or Tubi, or other avenues. Or if you know somebody that has a copy and they're willing to let you borrow it, by all means, borrow it from them, because I don't think you'll regret it. I just always tell people, don't go out and buy these just because Dana says they're great. Okay. But in my opinion, it is great. But I would rather you watch it for free and then determine whether you want to buy it or not. Is this something that you're going to watch more than, once or more than a handful of times? Okay. To justify, you know, purchasing it. Okay. So that is all I've got for right now. I want to thank everybody for joining me for the Terror Time Tea Winter Kills edition. Hopefully, there will be some more Terror Time Teas coming up here soon. I've been on here a little bit over 30 minutes all told. And I'm going to get out of here, but keep a watch for the video announcing the return of one of my more popular segments on the channel. I'm not going to tell you what it is here because I want you to watch that video that will be coming up here shortly. Also, please join me and Candace live if you can at 6 p.m. Eastern Time today for Friday Foolish. It's going to be a special New Year's edition Ask Us Anything show. We're going to throw everything at the wall and see what sticks. And I want to remind I'm off like a dirty shirt for now. This shirt ain't dirty, but I'm off like one. And I want to remind everybody, as I always do before I get off of here, to be kind to one another and blaze that trail. And guys and gals, if you've been having, the past year, 2024, if you had some disagreements with friends or family members, or even in the new year if you did, now is the time to extend that olive branch. Extend words of kindness, extend words of forgiveness, because none of us are promised a tomorrow. And I'm not only speaking for myself, I'm speaking for everybody. Okay. Um, there are people that I would like to touch base with again too, that, have become angry at me. Um, and have so far not, wanted to talk to me. Okay. So I'm not only speaking for myself, I'm speaking for everybody. There's guys, gals, there's people out there hurting. If you're refusing to talk to someone, think about why you're refusing not to talk to them. Okay. Um, I'm not going to get super personal or anything. I'm just saying you got to think about what's really important. Is it really that important to you to spend the rest of your life being angry at somebody and not talking to them? Or would it be better to have no regrets in that department when we finally get called home? Whether you believe or don't believe, when we get called to our heavenly home, you don't want to have that laying on your heart. You just really don't want to have that laying on your heart, because none of us are promised a tomorrow, folks. So now is the time for forgiveness. Now is the time for understanding. Count that in your New Year's resolutions, whatever you need to do. And let's make our friendships better. Let's make our lives better. Let's make our world better this year. And so I'm through. I'll get off my soapbox now, and I will see everybody next time.